Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Toffees Tactics Show. I'm back. I know we've had a little bit of a break. It's been Christmas and New Year, loads of games and all that. So let's start it afresh from today. Listen, I've had a look because our form has dropped off incredibly lately. We've lost 4 of the last 5 games, including 2 at Goodison Park on the bounce. And it's been a little bit of a depressing time, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Since the derby, it seemed as though the minute Jordan Pickford made that mistake in Anfield, our season derailed a little bit. And we haven't really recovered. You know, the games against Newcastle and Watford, for me, are the real... They were the ones that started this. Man City, Tottenham, you know, if you want to call them expected defeats, then maybe that's what it was. But, you know, certainly Watford and Newcastle at home was shocking for me, the performance. And then obviously Brighton and Leicester was really poor as well. So what I've done is I look back over when we were playing really well in October, November, just to see what kind of stats we were bringing in compared to now, you know, to see if we're doing anything different. And I was surprised that we're not. We're doing kind of exactly the same. You know, the passing, we're managing 400 odd passes a game. Against Lincoln in the FA Cup, actually, last week we had 600. But we're managing around 390, 400 passes per game, which we were doing in October, November. The attempts at goal, if anything, they're up. But the big thing for us is the attempts on target. That's the big thing, and that has dropped off. Whether that's players not taking care with the ball, whether it's players feeling tired, whether it's players just not performing the way they should, that's been the biggest difference. And so when people say, you know, we're rubbish or we're this or we're that, we're kind of doing everything we were doing in October and November. It's just that we're letting more goals in and we're not scoring as many, which is obviously the key to disaster, isn't it? In a football sense, if you aren't scoring goals and you can't keep them out the other end, you have got no chance of winning games. And that's kind of what we found. You know, what I would say in all of that, the caveat to that is the Leicester City game was horrendous. It was a horrendous game of football. I think both teams were really, really poor that day. And saying that Everton still had 60% possession, 18 attempts at goal to Leicester's 7 or 8 or something like that. And it was just that it was settled by Jamie Vardy, after obviously a mistake by Michael Keane. After Walcott's mistake as well, of course. So as we go into this next period, which I know, listen, I said after Burnley away, the games we had coming up in the league were all very favourable until Manchester City, and we lost the next 2. So I'm not going to say the same. All I would say is we've had a harder set of fixtures than we've currently got in the next 3 or 4 games. Doesn't mean anything. You'd have to win them, or it doesn't mean a thing. But that's been a big thing at the moment. Like I say, just checking out what we were doing. Even defensively, you know, zonal marking's popped its head up again. And again, I've looked at the goals and it's individual making mistakes. And I honestly, listen, Marco Silva's not going to change. He's not going to all of a sudden go, we're not marking zonally. The best teams in the world mark zonally. The big thing is players have to be switched on and players have to react. And that happens even if it's man-to-man. Man-to-man and someone runs away and heads it in, you just go, well, it's his fault because he let him run. Well, it's exactly the same with zonal. If you don't do your job properly, you can see goals, you know. And the big example of that was Kurt Zouma last week against Lincoln. So the ball lofted into the box. He should deal with it. He doesn't. He steps forward and then jumps on the back of Yerry Mina and so they leave the lad who gets the effort in on goal, and then no one's picking up the second ball after Pickford's made the save. So just individual errors. The goal we conceded at Brighton was bad luck. Corner coming, it hit someone on the Gomez on the shins, and the 2 kids, Lacardia and the other kid, are offside, and the ball rolls through. And well, not offside, obviously, because it come off Gomez, but they're standing on their own in an offside position. Should a Leicester player knock it down? And he puts it in. And the goal at Burnley is poor defending again. Michael Keane gets it off the line, it's bobbling around, no one reacts. And if you're looking at that, that's the thing. Even Tottenham, Harry Kane, the free kick, which hit the post, Trippier's free kick hits the post, no one reacts, and Kane smashes it in, and it's just individuals making mistakes. We've seen the same mistakes at Manchester City. So, you know, players have got to tighten up themselves. It's a collective responsibility, but it's also a personal responsibility. So, you know, losing our last league game was really frustrating against Leicester. It was a terrible, terrible game. I think realistically, the only couple of players who stood out for me that day was Luca Dean and Bernard, who came on as a substitute. I've got Luca Dean's been outstanding for me so far this season. We brought him in and he's been absolutely brilliant. And again, he was for me against Leicester. I thought he was Everton's man of the match. And he was, you know, he's just been great for us this season, hasn't he? So here's Luca's numbers from the game. As you can see there, 2 shots at goal, no goals. 37 out of his 50 passes completed. 25 of those were forward passes, to which he completed 16 of them. Ended up with a pass completion that day of 74%. 2 crosses completed out of 12. That isn't great. He's normally a bit more accurate than that. Aerial duels, won all of his aerial duels, 3 out of 3. 6 ball recoveries as well. 1, the only tackle he went in for, and created 1 opportunity within the game. And he's just been fantastic addition, hasn't he, since he come in from Barcelona. And he does make you forget about Leighton Baines. You know, we seen how good Baines was last week against Lincoln, but the fact is that most Evertonians, if not all Evertonians, will pick Luca Dean again this Sunday for the Bournemouth game. Is testament to how well he's done. You know, given the regard we hold Leighton Baines in, we all love him. And he's still got a lot to offer, obviously. So that was Luca Dean against Leicester. He was, like I say, he was our pick of the bunch in what was a horrendous game of football. Anyway, we're on to the Bournemouth game at the weekend. This is obviously a tricky game. It's a tight game, normally, with the exception of the 6-3. I think it's been single goal wins, bar the FA Cup. Then we've played them 7 times in the Premier League, and Everton have won 3 and Bournemouth have won 2. I'll put the head-to-head up now so you can see for yourself. There it is, 3 wins for Everton, 2 draws and 2 wins for Bournemouth so far. Drew 2-2 down at Bournemouth earlier in the season, and that was a real frustration for Everton, because Everton played ever so well that day, going down to 10 men, still took a 2-goal lead. Bournemouth, of course, lost their own player as well, so it was 10v10. Everton were in total and utter control until Leighton Baines gives a penalty away and Callum Wilson scores it, and then Nathan Aké equalises. But Everton should have had the penalty at the end of that as well, with obviously Cenk Tosun dragged down in the box, very similar to what the referee gave Wilson his pen for. So the inconsistencies began then. So yeah, you know, like I say, big game this for us on Sunday. These are a good side on the day, no question about it. It's really difficult to predict what these are going to do, though, because I've had a look at the last 5 away games. They've lost the last 5 away games on the spin. They've played a different formation in the last 5 away games. They've changed it every single week or every single time, maybe partly due to who they're playing, possibly to try and get a result, to try and mix it up with something else. Last time away, they were beaten 4-1 at Old Trafford. They played 3 at the back that day. The time before, they were beaten 5-0 at Tottenham. They played 4-4, 1-1. You know, they've had a 4-4-2. They played a 4-3-2-1. You know, they've literally mixed it up all the time. And so it's really difficult to look and go, they're going to come and this is normally what they play. Because at home, they play 4-4-2. But away from home, they mix it up. That might be part of the reason why they struggle away, that they change it too much. But so it's hard to predict just what they will come and do at the weekend in terms of their formation. So Bournemouth are a tough side. They're going to be a tough side. They're you know, being rewarded for their stability under Eddie Howe. You know, he's got them there, and he's being given time to build something. They're only, you know, they're talking about a Premier League club that has 11,000 fans at the stadium. That's all the stadium holds. And for them to be as stable and do as well as they've done is testament to his coaching ability and to the board in backing him, isn't it? So it's going to be a tough game. You've got good players with good ability. Obviously, they just signed Nathaniel Klein on loan from Liverpool. They've just bought Dominic Solanke. Klein will probably play. Solanke, by all accounts, won't, because he hasn't been training. He may be on the bench. And I suppose the other big thing for them is Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson both facing late fitness tests for Bournemouth. So let's be honest, they'll both play because it's Everton. There's been a lot of talk about Callum Wilson, £50 million to Chelsea and the like. And, you know, scored 9 goals this season. So I thought I'd do a comparison, because a lot of people have been saying Everton should get him or try to get him. So I thought I'd do a little comparison player-wise with our top goal scorer, who is Richarlison, of course. So let's get some of these stats on the screen now. So as you can see, Richarlison, 19 appearances to Callum Wilson's 20. Both scored 9 goals. Callum Wilson, 5 assists. Richarlison, just the 1 assist. He's got to do better for me in terms of that. Onto the attacking side of the game, like I say, 9 goals each. 0.47 goals per game for Richarlison, 0.45 for Wilson. 175 minutes separating Richarlison's goal to Wilson's 185. 48 shots from Richarlison, 42 from Wilson, both with 18 shots on target. 12 off target for Richarlison, 16 off target for Wilson. Richarlison with a better shooting accuracy there, 60%. Wilson's down to just under 53%. Shooting success, 18.75 for Richarlison, 21.43 for Callum Wilson. Goals with the right foot, 5 for Richarlison, 4 for Wilson. 3 left footers for Richarlison, 2 from Callum Wilson. 3 headers from Wilson, just 1 from Richarlison. Both players scored all of their goals from inside the penalty area, none from outside the box. Both hit the woodwork on 1 occasion. Richarlison scored 6 of his big chances. Callum Wilson scored 5 of his. Richarlison's only missed 3 big chances, while Callum Wilson's missed 13 big chances. And then overall, a team play, like I say before, 1 assist for Richie, 5 for Callum Wilson. Big chances created, again, just 1 from Richarlison, 9 from Wilson. Passes, Richarlison 441 to Callum Wilson's 297. Pass completion, Wilson's is actually better at 67.34%. Richarlison just under that. Passes forward, 112 forward passes by Richarlison to Wilson's 77. 122 backward, 70 backward from Wilson. Touches, 836 from Richarlison, 559 from Wilson, and through balls, 1 for Richarlison and 2 from Callum Wilson. So I just thought that was really interesting, because obviously Wilson is being talked up, and people have heard Evertonians saying he's the one we should get, he's the player we should get. Now this is a kid that is 27 at the moment, and we've got Richarlison, who is 21, both with 9 goals. Richarlison's shooting accuracy and finishing arguably better than Callum Wilson. So if we were to get Callum Wilson, it's almost as if we're not really upgrading. You know, I know Richarlison's young as well, 21. You know, there's loads of time for him to get better and better. I know that he can play wide. So people might argue that and say, well, he still does a job wide. But at the minute, I wouldn't want Everton paying £50 million for Callum Wilson. I'm not saying we would anyway, but I'm just saying he wouldn't be the one I would go for. But he is a very, very good player, and you know, he's had a couple of big injuries as well. That's another worry as well. But I just hope there's more talk before this game that Chelsea won him. In fact, I just hope he doesn't pass his fitness test for Sunday, and then he's back on Monday, full training, and he does well for Bournemouth after that. Just miss our game, please, Callum. So yeah, so it's going to be a big game. Like I said before, Ryan Fraser has got 9 assists this season. He's the top assister. He is facing a late fitness test. He has trained, but only done some light training with the team over the last couple of days. I expect him to play. So quite simply, this is a game Everton have to win. It's a team that will let us play, you know, pass the ball around. Very, very similar to us. They press high. They keep the ball on the floor, knock it round as well. So it's going to be a real test, but we have to get the 3 points. 2 defeats on the run at Goodison isn't good enough for me. We can't make it 3. You know, for the first time since March 2016, We can't lose 3 home games on the run. We have to win. And if we do win and we're on 30 points on Sunday night, then, you know, we can go then to Southampton the following. We can start maybe looking up a little bit more, because the margins are fine in that middle section. These are the same points with us, below us on goal difference, so we've got to start beating the teams around us and putting some daylight between us. So there you go. That is it for this week's Tactics Show. I'll be back next week. We can have a more in-depth look then into this game, can't we, and see where it went right for Everton. Let's stay positive. Big thanks for watching. Have a fantastic weekend. See you soon on Toffee TV.